Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode on the podcast. I have my lovely friend Joelle that I met about 2 years ago at an endometriosis event in Tauranga, and we've connected online ever since. And I'm so excited to talk to you more about your journey. I know that you share a lot of your journey online and really support other women as well who are going through similar things.
Mhm. Hello, everyone.
I'd love before we begin, obviously I reckon a lot of people who listen to this episode are gonna have like endo, polycystic ovaries, like I need to learn how to pronounce adenomyosis.
So I actually don't even know myself. Like I say adenomyosis. Some people say adenomyosis. So
Okay, cool.
you've got an accent as well. So
I do. For anyone listening who doesn't know, would you mind describing like what endo and adenomyosis is?
of course. So endometriosis is lining similar to the uterus, grows outside of the uterus and attaches to other organs. In my case, it was my liver, kidney, and bowels, I think. Some people have had it in other areas like your breasts and your brains. It can really just grow everywhere. And then adenomyosis is the lining inside the uterus, grows, but in a bulky, I'm really bad at explaining as well, but grows quite bulky and heavy inside the uterus. With adenomyosis, the only way to get rid of it is by having a hysterectomy because it's all inside the uterus. And when you have
Mm.
hysterectomy, what they remove. With endo, they're still trying to figure out how to get rid of it. But some people have said that having a hysterectomy works. But I think if you haven't gotten rid of all of it and you still have the hysterectomy, it can still grow. And there's been cases of people that have had endo that's grown elsewhere after having a hysterectomy as well.
It's a
Crazy.
lot, and like none of us should have to get rid of our wombs, you know? But I know that the symptoms that you can get from it can be so bad that people actually they're like, I'll do anything, you know, like
Yeah.
how can I? So I'd love to hear a bit more about your journey. How did you find out that what you had and yeah, tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
Okay, well, strap in. It's a bit of a long one. Roller coaster trying to figure out what was wrong with my body. But growing up in high school and even in intermediate, which is when I first got my period, I always had quite heavy and painful periods. So I spent a lot of time in the nurse's office. And for me, I thought it was normal because my mum always had that. My sister had normal periods, like light periods. So I thought she was a weird one. But I then later found out my mum gave birth to me with one ovary because her periods were so bad. So yeah, in high school, I grew up with just quite painful and heavy periods, and I didn't really think too much of it because I thought it was normal. But when I got to about my 20s, early 20s, I think I was about 21, I started getting really bad, severe cramping, and they would just last extended periods of time, longer than what my period was. And I'd constantly go back to the doctors being like, what can I do about this? Like, I'm losing so much blood. Like, blood is also coming through when I shouldn't be because I was on the birth control pill. Um, and they were like, okay, just run the packs together, run the sugar packs, and just completely skip your period to see if that works. And that never worked. It just always came through. It always pushed through, regardless of yeah, running packs together or trying to try a different birth control pill.
I feel like
But
there's so much like trial and error, you know?
so much and so many different medications that is just chucked to you to try. Like back then, of course, they didn't know too much about the condition, so they're like, "We're just going to try it and see if this works for you." But when I got to about 21, I started getting really bad pain during intercourse and after intercourse, and that's when I was like, "Okay, something is really not right here. Like, you shouldn't be having pain during sex." I would get to a point where I'd be in a fetal position for about 20 to 30 minutes waiting for the rush of it just to disappear. And it would make me really dizzy and sick and nauseous. And I ended up actually taking quite a bit of time off work because of how severe it was. Because, like, sometimes I'd have sex in the mornings and I couldn't go to work that morning because it was just so painful. But it wasn't consistent. It wasn't pain every time I had sex. It was just very, very random. And I don't know if that's linked to like cycle or anything like that because I wasn't getting a period then after getting the Mirena. But when I started getting pain after sex or during sex, I went to my GP and I was like, we need to find out what's wrong. And they, again, just gave me a whole bunch of pain relief. And someone had mentioned something about a gynecologist. So they were like, if you find one, we'll write you a referral letter. Luckily, I had private health insurance. My sister got her tonsils taken out and it cost her like 3 or 5 grand. And I thought I wouldn't be able to just drop that money on it, right? Like, just a surgery like that. So I got myself health insurance, and it really worked in my favor because I was able to find a private gynecologist, Dr. Simon Edmonds at Green Lane. And I think I got an appointment in like a week of the referral and spoke to him about my symptoms and my journey. And he was like, I think you've got endometriosis. Let's schedule you in for a surgery. So I had one 3 months later, and that's when I was diagnosed with endo and then adenomyosis, which I'd never heard about until post surgery. So it was quite a shock to hear that. And then since then, I have just been in a huge roller coaster of symptoms. I don't know if the surgery made it better or worse because I actually
Mm.
was the worst that I'd ever been in terms of symptoms and sickness post surgery. It was after getting COVID and after the vaccine, so I don't know if that played a role in it as well. I always think that it kind of contributed to it because I ended up having to go down to part-time work and not being able to like walk upstairs and stuff because the pain was so bad. Yeah, my journey's been very up and down. A lot of people have the surgery and they're better for a wee while. Mine made me worse.
And that's the thing is each person's journey is so different. And when I met you about 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about endometriosis. And I just started my business as like holistic health and life coach. I've always been fascinated between the mind and the body. And when I was invited to come along was mind blown by the severity of what it was like and women sharing their personal stories of like how much it affected their day-to-day life. And so often doctors are trying to get rid of like their symptoms, like, oh, here you go, here's some pills to get rid of, the pain. And I know that they are trying to, and they don't know what the root cause is. They don't know how to get over it. So it's like, how can we manage this at this moment in time? But it's been really interesting because so many of my clients have endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, PMDD, and I'm like, how are they finding me? And I'm not a specialist at endometriosis, but I'm like, this is interesting. Why are these people and these women drawn to me? As well as why was I invited to that event specifically out of all of the events that there could be? And I really think it is because I support people with balancing their masculine and feminine energy. And after that event, I went home and I had this deep dive and let's look up endometriosis. Let's look at what could potentially be the emotional cause or the spiritual cause. And again, I want to say, I know you've got to have a holistic approach to everything, and there's not going to be like, oh, this is the cause. Like, that's not the case. Or it's not going to be like, here's one thing that you can do and it's going to make everything better, because that's just not the reality. But I think it is interesting to look at if the doctors can't help me, for example, like, yeah, there's loads of steps that we can take to improve our health. And I'm so excited for you to share what has supported you and that can support other women. But also, can I dive and look into my emotions and see if there is something that makes sense or I resonate with? And when I looked it up, it shared that all of these kind of like feminine problems, I don't want to call it a problem, I don't like that wording,
Saying you're calling it what it is. Like it is a problem. It affects our daily life. It's so common as well. Like it used to be 1 in 10 women have it, and now it's one in
but
seven in Australia and New Zealand.
it was Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. Says that, a lot of these symptoms can be linked to rejection of our feminine energy. And it's not to say that anyone's like caused it, because that's not the reality either. But it could be that the more you connect with your feminine energy, the better that your symptoms can appear. And that has been what has happened with my clients, looking at things like a cycle, cyclical living, and actually working with our cycle rather than working against it, because we're taught to like do exercise, work out all the time, and like be productive 24/7, whereas women are not supposed to work like that. Like, we're supposed to live cyclically, and I think that's been like such a learning for so many of us, me included.
To do that as well, like with having a period again, is catering workouts and what I eat to where I am in my cycle, because your body craves and needs different things dependent on where you are. Because, at some points in your cycle, you need something that's a lot more like mellow and some more self-love and that nurturing type of like things that help you feel better. But then you'll have like a week in your cycle where you're like, I have got so much energy, I can work out, I can do a gym class. We operate so differently to a man. Like we go through 4 different phases in a month, and don't they say they go through those four different phases in like a day or
Yeah,
something?
Yeah, every 24 hours.
Ours is 30 days.
Yeah, and even that can change depending on us as well. Like if you have more regular periods or less. I know a lot of women with PCOS don't have that frequent periods either. It might be every like 6 weeks or so as well. But also specifically linked to endo, when I looked it up, it was sharing that the emotional cause could be a lack of support, lack of safety in our relationship, or spending so much time supporting other people and not necessarily supporting ourselves. And most women do this. We are nurturers, we are givers, and we don't always give back to ourselves. And a lot of the time it can be subconscious as well. We might not actively think like, oh, I'm not supported. But then when we look in reality, who is helping us? Who is looking after us? Who are we reaching out to for support? Because I mean, I don't have endo, but until 2021, I didn't ask for support for anything. I was like, I'm a strong, independent woman. I can do everything on my own.
I think as well because like back in the day, like women were so dependent on men for everything or on their partners or other people. So now in our generation, we're like, no, we can do everything ourselves. We're independent, and then we get too scared to ask for help. And sometimes I think asking for help, some people can make you feel ashamed for doing that, when I think it's actually one of the strongest things you can do for yourself. Like, why put yourself under pressure if you have got friends or family that are there and willing and able to help you? But there's this whole stigma around, we've got to be independent women, like we don't need men to do this and that. Like, everyone just wants to do everything themselves, but they forget to nurture themselves at the same time.
Definitely. And I feel like I was worried about not so much other people judging me, but I was judging myself for asking for support. I was like, no, I should be able to do this on my own. But in reality, back in the day, women, yeah, did all of like the nurturing stuff, but we didn't have full-time jobs. But now we're working full-time as well as doing a lot of the other things as well. Even we give a lot of emotional support to other people without probably realizing it too.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think when I was at my sickest during COVID, I was in a relationship with someone who wasn't the greatest for me. It took a lot of my emotional capacity, and also the relationships I had around me in terms of friends and family took a huge toll on my body. And I mean, like now that I look back, that was when I was the sickest in my life.
Mm,
And the people that were around me, I mean, that kind of reflected how I felt almost. Alongside, with the bad eating habits and things like that. Like it's really like what you surround yourself with and what you put into your body. And that really does include the people that are around you, not just food.
definitely. Everything you consume makes a difference. I'd love to hear what are the biggest things that have supported you.
Gosh, there is a lot.
And I'll
I
share your Instagram as well for anyone to follow because I know that you're always posting new tips and things that you're
yeah,
trying.
yeah, just learning things along the way, especially over the years. But I mean, it's all in conjunction with each other. So I've seen a variety of specialists, like in the medical field. Um, I think a pain psychologist really helped, in reading books on understanding endometriosis helped with understanding pain better. I think if you are struggling with endometriosis or adenomyosis, PCOS, try and understand the condition, understand what it does to you, how it affects your nerves, how it affects your brain, the relationship between your brain and your uterus and your body. It sounds crazy, but it just helps to manage the symptoms better. I think when you're more aware of what the pain is, because there are so many different types of pain that you can get, especially with endo, like you've got the cramping, the shooting, the nausea, all that stuff. If you can understand that and differentiate it, instead of being like, oh my God, I feel really crap, but not knowing what it is that's making you crap, that's going to drive you a lot more insane. It's going to make you go round in circles because you're not too sure what it is that you're feeling. But once you really start to understand your body, the brain, pain, etc., it just becomes easier to manage. So I think, yeah, a pain psychologist or reading books on endo and things like that definitely help. Um, Having just like great people around me, like when I'm down, I have my best friend, I have my partner and my family that have always been there to pick me up when usually I'm the one picking up other people. Like, if I can't give that 80% now, it's your turn to do it. And there's never a question about it. Like I never have to be like, I feel like crap. Like, why can't you do this for me? Or can you get me this? Like, they just automatically go, here's a hottie, here's a tea. Like, what do you need? I'll make dinner tonight. Like, just little things like that that mean the world and that do really help you out when you're feeling really low and can't do it for yourself. Very, very important. And I know with the endo community because I've had quite a few girls reach out being like, I don't know anyone else that struggles with it. I have no one to talk to. And that's why I have my page. So I can support, be there and like, give tips and advice, but also connect them with other people that share similar things because not everyone is very lucky to have that support system around them with family and friends. So yeah, try find people that struggle with similar things and go to all these groups and events that are hosted for endo because there is a lot out there, especially in Aotearoa.
Yeah, being supported like is magic. And just like knowing that people are experiencing similar things to you. Like obviously you don't want them to, but to be like, I'm not alone, like
It's crazy because like when you're trying to explain how you're feeling from it, I see how if you don't struggle or have experienced it yourself, how it can sound a little bit whack. Like I'm especially the last week with having my period, I'll just have moments where I'm fine and then all of a sudden I get this wave of nausea or cramping and it lasts for like 5 to 30 minutes and then it's gone and then it comes back and then it's gone and then trying to explain that to somebody that just because they can't see it, they're like, what do you mean? So being able to speak to people that understand it and experience it themselves and makes you feel less alone and less crazy is a huge thing.
yeah. And then I can imagine with your relationships, families, partners, it is communicating with them as well. Like this is what I'm experiencing. Like when I'm going through this, this is the kind of support I would need. And then they can easily give it to you. Like you said, you don't actually have to ask now because they just know.
Mhm.
Amazing. I know you've dived quite a bit into your diet as well.
Yeah. So during COVID, when I was really sick, I actually had to cut out everything. I just basically went on like a whole foods vegan diet. Like I found any type of meat made me sick, dairy made me sick, gluten made me sick. And as I think a lot of people with endo find that a gluten-free diet works best for them. I think
Mhm.
because glutinous foods do tend to make you a bit more bloated, and inflammation and bloating is something that we really do struggle with. Yeah, I cut it all out just because of the symptoms I was getting and that was associated with it for I think about, gosh, I can't remember, a couple of months to a year. And then I slowly started to reintroduce more meat and dairy, and I can eat all of that fine now. Gluten, I have only a little bit in like sauces and things. I wouldn't have like pasta or bread. Like I'd just go for gluten free because I can enjoy those yummy foods without the bloating, the intensity of the cramping and the inflammation. So yeah, diet is a really big thing. I think a whole foods diet is probably the best one for endo, which is what I stick to. So that's a lot of um like just vegetables, straight meats, like anything that's like naturally made, like come from the ground or come from an animal. Sorry to my vegans and my vegetarians.
I'm the vegan.
Yeah.
But no,
It's
I
not
think a
for
whole food
everyone.
diet is good for everyone,
Yeah,
realistically. The
grain,
more,
rice, things. But if you're getting packeted stuff from the supermarket, like there is just so much crap in that we don't actually know what we're putting into our bodies. Like you read, most of the time you get those boxes or packets of things, you read the back and you don't know what half the ingredients are.
and
Why are
they're
we putting
sneaky
upsets?
with the
Yeah.
ingredients too. I know with sugar, they put like three different types of sugar in there, like honey, maple syrup, something else, so that it goes towards the end of the list because there's not as much percentage in there. But yeah, basically, the least ingredients, the better. So Whole Foods just have one ingredient, but obviously, yeah, some things you can't always get one only ingredient, but the more natural, the better.
I think you can do a lot with if you have the time to cook and to prepare food, you can do a lot with whole foods, especially with nuts and grains. Like I incorporate a lot of nuts into my diet, seeds and nuts, pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, all those types of things, because there are so many benefits to them, but you can also be really creative with them. Like jump on TikTok, jump on Pinterest, you'll find so many recipes to make, and you know that it's good stuff. Like it's purely just the nuts, just the seed, put your vegetables and your meat, if you're eating meat, your grains and all together, make your own sauces, like get herbs, use olive oil. Like you can really make some good food with just eating the straight whole foods diet. But I think a lot of people get put off because it does take time and you do have to, be quite creative and patient with it. And it's just so easy to go and pick up something quick and easy from the supermarket or from McDonald's or something.
Small shifts, though, even if people could make things a little bit more often or use Whole Foods a little bit more, then that would have an impact as well.
Yeah.
And I saw you were on the peppermint tea hype.
Ah, I'm off it now. So I started drinking peppermint tea. I was trying to do it every day for 30 days to get rid of nausea, and a lot of people had recommended it. So I started doing it. I really couldn't get around the taste of it. Right now I'm having a raspberry leaf tea, the women blend, but I've been having more green teas, and I've got this like herbal Thai blend that my mum gets me from Thailand instead. And it seems to be doing fine. Like I've had it throughout my period, and yeah, it's okay. So I don't know if the maybe it's just having something hot and warm. Like growing up, my mum always said, have hot beverages. Like as women, we need to have warm things in our body, like having cold things. Like she was like, it will cause you cramping. And I always thought she was mad. I was like, why would a cold water or a Coca-Cola cause me cramping? Like, why do I have to have something warm? But yeah, whenever I'm feeling unwell, I just have like a tea now, and it always helps. Helps with circulation as well, which then reduces inflammation. Yeah, definitely recommend the teas. Another recommendation I had was spearmint. So just the mint that grows in your backyard is meant to be amazing for nausea. So I've been doing that the last 2 days. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, love that. And you've experimented with things like the sauna and reducing inflammation in any way that you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the sauna, I like the sauna because I feel like it just sweats out anything that's bad as well. Like it just makes you feel really grand after you do a session like that. But it is really, really helpful for reducing inflammation. And with endometriosis, it is an inflammatory disease. So everything I do in my day to day is mainly targeted at reducing inflammation. So that's why I eat a certain way that I eat. That's why I do the saunas. That's why I take fish oil, because fish oil is meant to help with inflammation. Anything like that, I just will go towards. Like inflammation is like the biggest thing that you should be targeting when trying to manage endo. I think like reducing your inflammation then also helps to reduce like your severity of cramping and like how often you're feeling fatigued and all those other side effects that come with it.
Yeah, definitely. And with inflammation, grounding and putting our feet outside on the floor can be amazing. You can get grounding bed sheets as well that plug into the wall that basically get you grounded each night. And it's really connected to our root chakra. We've got 7 chakras in our body, which are energy centers, and our root chakra is our base chakra. So even eating things like root vegetables are supposed to help, and eating red colored foods. Then our sacral chakra is where our sexual organs are. So that one will also be connected to endo. So eating orange colored foods because that's the color of this chakra as well. And that's really connected to creativity and sexuality. A woman that I had a call with recently who has PCOS, I was diving a bit more into her life because I look at like someone's whole life. And she was sharing that she's a very creative person, but it's something that she's not been doing for like the last little while. And I was like, I think this is connected, you know. Get back into your creativity. This is going to support you to connect with this chakra as well. So I know that it doesn't always seem like that these things are linked, but also it's worth exploring. And this can be fun as well. It's not like another chore or list of things that you've got to do that you don't want to do. I really believe that everything in our life is supporting us to get back into alignment. And the more we're doing the things that we love, the healthier and happier we are going to be.
That it's so true though, because your mind body connection, like my favorite quote ever was take control of your mind before your mind takes control of you, because your mind has huge influence over your body. And sometimes I'll notice that, like, if I can get down or like depressed or like just not in a good headspace, my body feels it. I feel sicker, like I feel crampier and unwell. And it sounds cuckoo, but like I think because I've experienced it so many times, I'm being like, okay, wait, why am I feeling like this? Let me just check in with myself. Like, how am I feeling overall? Do I have anxiety? Do I have things I'm stressing about? Is this making me really upset? And then I notice if I am feeling quite not so great, there are a lot of other factors in my life that I'm stressing about, and that mind body connection is like very, very relevant in those moments.
Yeah, definitely. I love the phrase where attention goes, energy flows. If we're focusing on good things, then our attention tends to go there and we have like an even better day. If we're focusing on the pain and the discomfort, we're probably going to feel more pain and discomfort.
Oh, it's so true. Like you almost need to distract yourself with things that make you feel better. And that's why I always talk about like, okay, get out of the house and go for a walk, like even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, the chances are if you go for a 5 minute walk, it's going to make you feel really great and you'll want to keep going for even longer. Go and do yoga, go and have a sauna, go and read a book, light a candle, put a hot water bottle on, incense, like those things that feel really good that can just distract you for a couple of minutes and don't require a lot of effort are going to go a long way for you.
Yes. One of my clients, this is related to the mind body connection. She has endo and she experiences like a lot of pain. But she, in one of our sessions, was sharing that every month she's expecting to feel pain. So then she was like, do you know what? I'm going to experiment with not expecting to feel it. Instead of being like, my period's going to come, it's going to be awful, blah, blah, blah. And I know that that has been the reality in the past and it is painful and we don't want to pretend that it's not. But she was like, instead of expecting it, I'm going to expect that it's going to be, good. And her pain was reduced. And I was
Oh
like,
my
isn't that
God,
mad?
how powerful your mind is.
Isn't it? Because the more we're telling it, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. That's probably what it's going to be. So why not experiment with shifting your beliefs to what if it's not going to be as bad this month? Like, what if it's going to be okay?
Mhm.
And yeah, all of these things together. And I know I don't want it to be overwhelming for anyone listening to this, like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do. But I want you to feel like actually there is so many things that I could do to support myself and literally just picking one or two and knowing that you can come back to this anytime to like explore deeper or pick something else. But the more we can implement these habits into our daily life and then they don't feel like extra things that you're doing, but it's just how you live.
A book I would really recommend is Atomic Habits. I think most people have probably read it, but it does talk about how to create a habit and how to break bad habits. And like a habit forms by doing something every single day, like mindfully doing it, and then it eventually becomes the habit because you've done it so often that you don't have to think about it. It's like, when you wake up in the morning and you go to the toilet, like you go to get a glass of water or make your coffee, like you don't actually think about it. That's a habit that you've created over time from continuously, consciously doing it.
Yeah.
So I find like a habit I have is if I have got cramps and stuff, I'm straight away, I'm like, let's make a tea and let's make a hot water bottle. I don't even think about it. It's just a habit I've created over the years that I now can implement into managing symptoms.
Yeah. Honestly, such a good book. I read it too.
So good, right?
And then
Even
you
helpful into like just creating a habit on like how to keep your room clean or like wanting to be more mindful about what you're eating or where you're spending your spare time. Like that book is just so helpful and it's written in a way that's really easy to understand. And you can kind of skip the chapters as well. So you don't have to read like the whole thing in one go if it's too overwhelming and you're not a reader.
Mm, yeah. And then I think it is amazing with these symptoms to notice when am I feeling better and when were my worst periods and what was I doing in my life at that period of time? Like what was it that could have supported it to improve or what was it at the time that it was the worst, like you were sharing at the time. I didn't have that supportive friendships. And then I think it can be interesting as well to notice when the symptoms started to arise as well, like when the journey started. And again, something that I found while researching on the internet as to like commonalities between people who have like PCOS and endo. And I don't know if you resonate because I've not asked this and you don't have to share either, but a lot of people who have these have had either a parent die at a young age or they had to look after an ill parent at a young age. And it's less about the parent, but more about they had to grow up quick and they had to, I guess support the family or do these things from such a young age. Which I thought was really interesting because when I looked it up on the internet and that's what it shared, I reflected back on my clients and I was like, that ticks all the boxes for all of them.
I wonder if it would, if having like divorced parents could be related to that too. Because I feel like once your parents divorce, you're kind of forced as like a child to grow up. Like mine split when I was about 10. And like I was still a child when they did split, but it just when I'd go, because I do like a week with mum and a week with dad, like when I'd go to a certain parent's house, I felt like I had to really like look after myself and look after my sister. So
Yep.
yeah, it forces you to grow up a lot quicker than any child should. I think if you're in a home where your parents are still together, like you kind of have, like you see that happy and healthy relationship. So you're like, I'm free to kind of be a child.
Exactly. And I think it comes back to that balance of the masculine and feminine energy too. We kind of grow up thinking, oh, I need to do more. I need to like, yeah, look after myself. I need to, look after my parents, or like
Yeah,
siblings.
you do. You feel like you have to look after your parents because like they've just gone through a divorce. Like it's not easy for them too. So you want to be there to support them and give them the love that they've always given you.
Yeah. And although like connecting and supporting people is like our feminine energy, we weren't as able to like rest or take that time like off. And I think so many women, we do struggle to take time off.
We don't have an off button. I know myself, I don't have an off button. Like I'm constantly, I mean, I fly long haul, so I'm in and out of the country a lot. But then when I'm on a slip or when I'm home, I'm always working away at my laptop thinking of like ideas, like especially for by Jaguar. I'm like, oh, what do I want to share this time? Or like, what have I experienced in the last month that I've found helpful? So it's like creating that content and then I'm like designing these clothes and things. So I like don't have an off switch. And sometimes I really have to ground myself and be like, Joe, you have not had a day off and how long? Have a day to yourself. Don't have any devices. Like just sit down and enjoy being present. Hang out with your dog, hang out with your partner. Just don't work. And it's a lot harder to tell yourself to do that and to not naturally go towards doing that again, like making that habit of, as soon as I'm on my phone, I'm like, oh, I can do some work here. Trying to force yourself to have those off days and to rest and recover, which is a lot harder than people think. Like actually consciously doing it.
It's so hard. It's something that I've really had to force myself to do over time. And I find it easier now, but I definitely still get myself caught up in like, you should be doing more. You could do other stuff with this time. But then I have to remind myself rest is productive and we do actually need to rest. And the more we do it, the more everything else in our lives thrive. And it's often what I'm supporting my clients with as well, is that we don't need to be like doing all the time, especially around our periods and that time of the month. We're supposed to be resting and doing less. And actually, how we treat ourselves whilst we're on our period can have a ripple effect to the whole rest of the month. And then some of the things that people might not necessarily know, because it's a bit more in the like spiritual woo-woo kind of space. Well, it's scientific as well, but we can pass on trauma through different generations. So we can literally receive intergenerational trauma from up to like 14 generations back. So sometimes the physical symptoms we have might not even be our own. They might be from previous family members, especially if they've really struggled. Or it could potentially be linked to past lives as well. So people who have like severe, like it could be like endometriosis. Maybe there was something to do with your womb in your past life. For example, if you did lose the child or something previously, especially if you died doing that, that may
Mhm.
be something that carries on into your life in this lifetime. So again, I think it can be interesting to notice because there are past life healers as well that would be able to like tap into your past lives. And I mean, I've read many, many books on it, but often when we know what's happened in a previous lifetime, our body starts to heal itself. There's been people who have been like physically crippled, can't walk, go to a past life healing, and then they walk normally after.
Crazy. Just becoming aware of it, hey.
Yeah, and then womb healing, I think, is something that's being talked about more and more now. And I remember a few years ago, I sent you a podcast on womb healing because it was something I'd just heard of there and then. And one of my friends did a womb healing course recently, and she was saying, like, children don't want to be born into wombs of women at the moment who have trauma because it's going to get passed down into the next generation. So I think as a society now, many of us are going to be called into like womb healing, whether you've got any like problems with your womb or not. Because I think a lot of us, we're not connected with our wombs like our ancestors used to. They're actually, I think we actually get like psychic messages from our wombs as well. We can talk to them, which sounds woo-woo, but I mean, I also recommend anyone listening to ask your womb and like speak to it and like
Yeah.
get have a relationship with her.
No, I actually do that. Like, again, everything we say, we're like, it sounds cuckoo. But if I have really bad cramping, like I always go to do my pelvic floor exercises, but I will literally talk to my like uterus or womb area and be like, you're okay. It's okay. Like, you're not gonna die. It's pain and it's gonna go. Like, I talk to myself.
I love
And
it.
like the area down there in that way. But like I don't say it out loud. I just say it in my head and I just close my eyes. I'm like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Like, but I just consciously having that connection there, I think helps it because it's like I'm talking to my womb.
And you can even ask your womb questions. Be like, why are you so painful? I
Same.
actually had an experience with my first ever women's circle, which was in like 2021. This woman came up to me and she was like, "Can I speak to your womb?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it." And she literally was whispering into like my womb space, "Your womb is your power. Your womb is your power." And I saw her maybe a year ago at a wellness festival, and I was like, "Oh, I think I met you before one time." She was like, "Did I give you a womb healing?" And I was like, "I think so." I didn't know what that was at the time. But yeah, there's so many like practitioners out there, and one of my friends had a womb healing before as well, and like lots of visions were coming up while she was getting this healing, because men can get stuck, like male energy can get stuck in our wombs, which makes sense because they've been in there, but
Mm.
also other people can be in our wombs too, like their energy. So she was getting like different friends pop up into her womb, and I had a Reiki session recently, and one of my friends was in my womb as well, who definitely had not been in my womb, like um it's like we can hold so much energy in there without even knowing, and that's the power of like energy healing as well.
I guess your womb is where you create life. It's where babies are conceived and made. So you don't want to have the wrong energy hanging out in there.
No, not at all. And a lot of people, especially in the spiritual community, are talking about how if we do sleep with someone, like we can take on some of their energy as well. Like it's a shit. Yeah, we're sharing energy.
Mm. Mm. And DNA, you know. You want to
Yeah,
get liquids and things like that.
yeah, unless you use condoms.
Yeah.
Yes, so interesting. I think the final thing that I want to share is with the mind-body connection is that we can have like subconscious beliefs that we are not aware of. Like they're not things that we're consciously thinking, but many women do think my period's so bad, like it's going to be awful, it's going to stop me doing this, it's an inconvenience, oh, it's hard being a woman. And I'm not saying any of these are like not valid because like again, people have had experiences with all these things and you know, even further on, thinking women don't get paid as much as men, like we have sometimes have to give up our jobs. When we bear children, we don't always get to go back and like prioritize our career. And having these thoughts can also affect us because we're basically saying it's hard being a woman. I don't like being a woman. And these can have like an effect on our body too. So even becoming conscious of like the words that we're using and the things that we're thinking and we're saying and trying to reframe that to be like actually being a woman is like powerful. It's so amazing to be a woman. Yeah.
Amazing to be a woman. I love being a woman.
Yeah.
Like you, I think every woman has definitely had those moments where they're like, oh, it sucks, my period sucks. And you do have like those negative chats or thoughts. You're only human. And
Yeah.
I guarantee like probably every single woman has had those thoughts at least once in their life. But it's just training yourself to not think like that all the time because there is just so much to be grateful for. Like, you know, our bodies are incredible. You think about when people get pregnant and how your body just knows how to create a life in there and how to open up and just how to feed it and all those things. Like our bodies are amazing. How when you hurt yourself, it knows how to heal itself. Like just little things like that. Appreciate your body a lot more. Actually, I haven't reminder in my calendar every 3 days to give myself 5 affirmations every day that I get those 3 days that pop up. And it could be just something as simple as like, you're great, you're capable of achieving everything you want to, or like, you're a good cook, or my period's not going to be so bad because I am strong. It's just, it could be the smallest thing, or you could just be like, I'm grateful for this personal thing in my life. Like just feeding yourself those nice positive thoughts really do have a big change on your mindset and like how you think.
Amazing. Yes. And I think with the emotions and having those periods where you're like, oh, I don't like being a woman. Yeah, we don't want to be thinking that all the time, but it's also okay to just like honor and accept how we feel. Like our emotions come up for a reason, and we don't want to be like pushing them away. Like we want to be like, okay, how can I release this? How can I release this in a healthy way that serves me? And we're all human and we do all have like the highs and lows.
Well, you could just acknowledge it too and be like, okay, That's how I'm feeling right now. I am feeling like I hate being a woman right now because my period is so bad. Ugh, but what can I do about it? What's going to make me feel better so that I can change the way that I'm thinking? And it's really important to know what you can do to make yourself feel better. Just, to help yourself in those moments.
Yes. Is there anything that you would like to share that you haven't yet shared today?
I think the biggest thing is being your own advocate and your own support. Like, yes, you can have a big support system around you, but at the end of the day, like you're going to be the one that's going to be able to support yourself the most because you know what you need and what your body craves. So yeah, having your tools readily available for when you're having flare-ups, but also being like your biggest advocate when you go and see a specialist if you need to go and see them. In the medical field, like I know they do their best to help us, but you are going there to see someone that specializes in medication. So they are always going to be pushing that towards you. And if you know you need to see another specialist that you can be referred to, ask for it. Don't ever be afraid to. I'll go into a GP and be like, hi, I want a blood test. I want to get an ultrasound. I want a referral to this type of specialist. And my doctor, I think the last time I did that, she was like, I like that you come in and you tell me what it is that you want because we don't fluff around and waste our 15 minutes trying to figure out what I need to give you. And sometimes we have such similar symptoms to other illnesses, they might not know what's wrong with you. So I think if you do your own research and you're aware of how your body's feeling and what it could potentially be and who it is that you can go and see that might help, that helps you and it helps your doctor. So yeah, do your own research and be your biggest advocate that you can possibly be. And don't be afraid to do it. Don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. Like it's your body at the end of the day. You want to get healthier and you want to be better. So have no shame in it.
I absolutely love that. I think that's such a good piece of advice. And that's really like taking your power back as well. And yes, there's specialists that can support you and they're specialists in different areas, but no one knows your body better than you know it yourself. So yeah, absolutely love that. And for anyone listening who has yeah, maybe been to the doctors and because I know they do say to some people, like, oh, there's just nothing else that we can do. And I know that there's a lot of women that feel a bit lost, like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. I just have to put up with this. This is just
Go another
life
doctor.
now.
Honestly,
Yeah.
there are good doctors out there. Find someone else. Do not settle with someone that won't listen to how you're feeling and won't take your symptoms seriously because there are good doctors out there.
Yeah, love that. And like you shared as well, there's support systems as well. Finding out what's worked for other people can be really helpful. And yeah, connecting with other women who have similar things. But also, I am so happy to have a free call with anyone who, yeah, I've never worked with before, just to like explore different areas of your life and make small shifts that could have an impact, as well as looking at what potentially could be the root cause as well. Some of my clients have, yeah, definitely seen their period symptoms like reduce, their like depression reduce while they have their periods by like focusing more on their feminine energy. One of my clients has actually just come off of her endo meds, her own choice, but from all of like the things that she's done over the last year or so, has enabled her to do that as well.
Awesome. That's what I want to hear more of and more stories I want to see because it is completely possible. Like I was on so much medication and I think like a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm not doing it. Like I do not want to rely on this shit. Sorry about my French. But I was like, there's going to be a natural way to manage these symptoms. And now all I have is the Mirena. I never take pain relief. Like 2, 3 years ago, I was on 8 opioids a day, like constantly on different types of birth controls. Like you can heal your body naturally. You might not be able to get rid of it, but you'll be able to manage your symptoms naturally in a way where it's not affecting your day to day anymore. So I love that that has happened for her. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've loved this chat. And if anyone has any questions, like feel free to message us on Instagram. I'll put both of our links down below as well. And yeah, we're more than happy to chat.
Of course, yeah, always happy to chat and help out and fellow any female, any person, male, just anyone just going through it. We're always here.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.